The Harry Potter franchise offers a lot of material for new projects, and we haven't just known that since The Fantastic Beasts. The website Hollywood Reporter has now learned exclusively that work is underway on a Harry Potter live-action series in the well-known universe. Warner Brothers is taking matters completely under their own control, but they are currently only in the very early stages of production. According to the report, Warner has only met with potential screenwriters and discussed various ideas. Incidentally, Warner itself has directly denied the entire thing, which does not mean that the usually very well-informed trade magazine Hollywood Reporter is wrong. Another indication are similar reports from the colleagues at Variety, who enjoy a comparably trustworthy reputation. Unfortunately, it's not yet possible to make any statements about the plot of the series, but rumors have been circulating for quite some time that the next spin-off of the franchise could revolve around the school days of the so-called Marauders James Potter, Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew. We would definitely find that quite exciting, but of course everything remains up for discussion as far as the story is concerned. For example, the series could also revolve around a story that is set in the world of Harry Potter, but which is completely detached from the books and films. In any case, we are curious to see if and how the development will progress, and we hope to have further updates on the Harry Potter series soon. What kind of storyline would you like to see in the series? Would you be interested in a story about the school days of the Marauders, or would you like to see something totally different? Feel free to leave us a comment. Meanwhile, Netflix can definitely boast a few video game adaptations in its lineup. Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil, and The Witcher are just a few of the big names. As Netflix now announced on Twitter, an animated series about Lara Croft is currently in development. This is to follow the end of the video game trilogy consisting of Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and will take up and continue the origin story of the games mentioned. Tasha Huo, who was also involved in The Witcher Blood Origin, is the executive producer and writer in charge. In addition to Tomb Raider, two other animated series based on well-known franchises are planned, namely Game of Thrones and Skull Island. The former is to go into production at Warner's HBO Max, while there's already further information on Skull Island. The series, which like Tomb Raider is also being produced for Netflix, is set to revolve around a shipwrecked crew that lands on an island full of monsters ruled by a real king. Naturally, at this point the assumption is obvious that no one less than King Kong himself is meant. But there's not only news regarding various animated series, because as the Hollywood Reporter now reports, Misha Green will be directing the second video game adaptation of Tomb Raider starring Alicia Vikander. The 36-year-old is also said to have been entrusted with a screenplay for the live-action adaptation, which is why the originally planned collaboration with Ben Wheatley as director and Amy Jump as screenwriter is now apparently history. Green also posted directly on Twitter that her favorite games in the franchise are Legend, Rise, and Shadow. Might that be a hint at a potential storyline? Difficult to say at this point, as no information has been released to the public regarding the plot. In any case, we are looking forward to the several animation series as well as the live-action adaptation, and will of course keep you up to date as soon as more detailed information is available. When it comes to video game adaptations, it's always one of those things. Either they're really good and can stand on their own 2 feet alongside the video game, as in the case of the Netflix series The Witcher, for example, or they flop completely, like the Assassin's Creed adaptation from 2016. Director Eli Roth has also taken on a particularly difficult project, as the 48-year-old wants to film the crazy Borderlands series, and that'll be anything but easy given the visuals alone. Nevertheless, the cast continues to grow, as US comedian Kevin Hart was confirmed as new cast member a few days ago. As the first newcomer, he will thus support his fellow actress Cate Blanchett, who's rumored to be taking on the role of Lilith. Hart is expected to play the role of mercenary Roland and is already receiving high praise from director Roth. So far, many fans can't quite warm up to the film adaptation, though the only option is to wait around anyway. A release date for the Borderlands movie is not yet known. The restrictions and mass testing during the production of various films literally do not make it easy for the filmmakers to come to a close. However, as Screen Daily now reports, things are looking pretty good, at least for the latest Bat adventure, The Batman. Shooting is in full swing and should wrap up in March. Quite a relief after lead actor Robert Pattinson had to go into quarantine shortly after the start of production. Situation is completely different for The Flash. Since after years of back and forth and the recently announced exit of Ray Fisher, production is now slowly but surely starting. According to reports, it'll be starting in April with Ezra Miller in the lead role. Likewise, lightning-fast main character will appear in the upcoming Sonic 2. who's shooting for the theatrical release in early 2022, will also commence soon, as Tika Sumpter confirmed in an interview on Live with Kelly and Ryan. Unfortunately, there are still no further cast announcements, but at least things seem to be progressing along behind the scenes. Last but not least, there's joyful news about the third season of The Mandalorian. After the celebrated end of the second season, fans can soon look forward to a new season, because just like The Flash, the production of the new season will start in April, which will make a release in the course of the next year seem realistic. Which of the upcoming projects are you looking forward to the most? Feel free to write it in the comments down below. Now it's official! The Spy Kids series, which was very well received by many fans in the early 2000s, is being rebooted by original director Robert Rodriguez. A lot is to remain the same in the franchise, often dubbed James Bond for kids. So for instance, the multicultural family remains the focus. The first Spy Kids film in 2001 was followed by several sequels and even a series. In total, the movies generated just under $550 million US, which was fairly decent for the time. So now, Rodriguez is returning to his kid-friendly franchise after producing more adult content with From Dusk Till Dawn, Sin City, and the two Machete movies. Details about the reboot are yet to be released, so we'll have to wait a little longer for cast, plot, and release date information.